Insanity, extreme foolishness or irrationality, or the state of being mentally ill, confusion, paranoia, 24/7. Am I going mad? I swear I heard someone knocking at the door, but when I walked outside, it was just darkness. I could have sworn I saw something, but when I took out my phone and shined the light, I saw nothing. Rule 5, don't go outside. Rule 5, don't go outside. Rule 5, don't go outside. This thought kept racing through my head. How could I forget? There are 5 rules. 5 fucking rules, and I screwed it up. I could hear the sound of whispers starting to swarm around me, their voices ever so growing louder. I have no clue what these creatures are, or even if they are some form of monster. Maybe it's just in my head, from all this madness I've experienced. I thought. I came to the realization that this wasn't completely in my head. When I saw the shining of yellow eyes surrounding me among the tree line of my property, I swear there could have been hundreds staring me down then and there. I was frozen. The voices began to get louder. What was I to do? I saw as the eyes proceeded to get closer to me, until I saw a flash of blue came running towards me. It bit my leg and dragged me into the inside of my home, closing the door with its back leg and biting the lock, turning it to lock the door. I snapped out of my fear and whipped out the revolver I keep on me at all times, and I heard a voice say this.
I get it. I'm a monster. But should you really be pointing a gun at someone who just saved your life?
Then and there, I realized it was Henry, the skinwalker. I asked him what he was doing outside of my house, and why there are so many eyes outside, what he was going to do with me. I heard him exhale.
Listen, son. I've been in these woods for a long time, and I'm not too sure what those creatures are either. I like to refer to them as gossipers. From what I can tell, they seep themselves into your mind just from their stare, and can cause you to overly stress. You can snap out of it though, if you realize what's going on quick enough. I was trying to get away from them when I found you, and I decided to give you a hand.
I thanked him, but noticed something strange about Henry. He somehow managed to change his look. He wasn't like how he was before. This time he took the appearance of a dog/mountain lion hybrid. I asked him if it hurt to change, and he just remained silent. I told him he could sleep wherever he wanted, and that I was going to go to bed. He laid on my couch and passed out, and I went to bed. I'd be lying if I say I wasn't scared of a skinwalker sleeping in the other room. To be honest, I was terrified. But he seemed to relax, and he did save my life, so my mind was shortly put to ease. Knocking and the sounds of voices whispering outside my window continued all through the night. I could hear the voices playing tricks on me, attempting to lure me out with the voice of my grandfather. When morning came around, I heard Henry leave my house, and when I walked outside of my bedroom, I found a note on the ground explaining to me that Henry couldn't take living in this forest anymore, and that these things were driving him crazy, bringing back the urges to attack people. In fear of attacking me or the creatures of the forest, he ran off. I still have not seen him, and I've been thinking about him. A lot of his story is completely unknown to me, but this world is a strange one, and sometimes we don't get the answers when we want them. I talked to Charles, and me and him both decided it would be a good idea to put some walls around my house to keep some creatures out. Since Charles is able to manipulate nature, I asked him if he could just do it for me. He shook his head and told me and explained to the best of his abilities that his powers aren't strong enough to do that. This caused me to be slightly irritated. I wasn't upset with Charles or his friends. I was up with the fact that I will have to leave the house to go down to the local town. I realize I just have to suck it up though for my own well-being and Charles. It took me some time to start up the truck because I haven't used it in so long. No, there wasn't anything wrong with it, the engine or anything. It was just that I left some old food in it and it made the car smell like the county dump. Not my proudest moments. While waiting for my car to air out, I decided to clean it off and spray it down since it's been collecting dust. While cleaning the truck, I noticed strange claw marks all over it. Anxiety began to fill me and anxiety began to consume me, and I started to have a slight panic attack because I began to fear whatever was outside must have gone into my house and started tearing up my truck. But all the anxiety and stress faded when Charles waddled towards me holding a rat. My fears turned into happiness. I know it's gonna sound strange, but in my garage, I had an old cage I used to have my own pet rat that lived in. I took the rat out of Charles' little hands and let it run all over me. The little guy was very quick and friendly. I cleared out the cage of my previous rat and put him in it and left some food and water for him. A new member to the family, I told Charles. He bounced up and down in excitement. After all that, I hopped into my truck and started it up. Charles began to climb up and into my lap to ride with me, but I told him he had to stay home because he is too big and he could be spotted by people. He then began to shrink until he was pocket size. This was amazing. I didn't even know he could do that. Shrink or enlarge himself. I told him I guess he could come, and he hopped into my hoodie pocket and fell asleep. The drive was long, but soothing. Honestly, I nearly dozed off while driving it. It was the first time I really felt at peace in these woods in a long time. I've been experiencing nightmares almost every night. Sometimes I don't even dream at all anymore. The gossipers, they just talk and talk and talk. They try to lure me out. It's like torture. It makes me feel like there's a hole in my chest because they just use the voices of my grandfather. I can hear him screaming my name for help and it just hurts so bad. The ride soothed my mind and I felt all my anxiety melt away. For a while, it was just me, Charles, and the road until the town. I saw the place I needed to go and purchase as much wood as I could fit in the back of my truck. I decided to walk to the town and check out the local stores. I purchased some things, but when waiting at one of the registers for them to put all my stuff in a bag, I looked at a board that was put up and covering it was the names and faces of missing people. This caused me to have a flashback to when I found the door and there were bones scattered all around it. I didn't realize the corruption had spread all the way to the town. How could I have not realized all those bones couldn't be coming from lost hikers? I mean, I thought at least some of it could be animals, but this just proves it. Those monsters are just coming to this town, taking people. I was wondering why there were so few people around town. I felt Charles begin to wake up and he tugged at me through my pocket. I could tell there was something wrong and that he wanted to leave. I went back into my truck and me and Charles began to drive away. But someone began to tail us. They were speeding upon us and I floored it and began to speed all through the windy roads leading back to my house. When I turned around, whoever was chasing me was gone, and it was close to 9 p.m. and the dark had already set around me and Charles. I made it into the house, and here I am writing this now. Today has been exhausting, and I can hear the whispers of the gossipers beginning to start. I'm just gonna put on some Netflix and try to fall asleep. Ew. Hey guys and gals, it's me, Ren, and I just want to say a special thanks to my buddy Darkness Prevails for helping me out with this narration. Since I could not do a deep voice and he's got one, he helped me out. Check his channel down in the description below, and till next time, and remember, don't forget your nightlight.